will be the third tape, and there's no way I can get it all on the tapes, one tape. I give background so people know where I'm coming from with it, but they're all on there, a whole bunch of them since August the 3rd of 13 on YouTube, and I'm on Facebook, except my Facebook account got hacked, and I'm not sure I can even get into it. But this has gone on when I did a medical malpractice book about mind control, and what you can do with it, you can program people, modify their behavior, make them go out and commit acts of murder, and they can even create illnesses and cure it. And this goes back to the Tesla in 1930 and who got the files that were stolen. And I'm going to say this again. I've walked in my shoes. I know what's been done to me, at least a part, and my sons, and my country, and my mom and dad. And not one person has paid for it. It's a different story than you see on TV. When the Americans, it doesn't matter whose money they stole or how they got it. It's kind of odd, me sitting back in here, and I'm 76 years old as of last Wednesday, by the way, the 7th, when these shootings happened at the Satire magazine. And how does that fit in? I've tried to tell you. And I'm going to try to read this, and I'm going to skip going into anything else other than this is my dad. I found out in '83, Edward VIII, who was married to my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, a beautiful lady. She's Irish-American, sister to Georgia O'Keefe. Now then, this is a double that married Wallace Simpson. 99 years still put on all this. My Uncle George helped do it. Illegal George VI. Roosevelt appointed Kennedy. Joe Kennedy ambassador to England. And JFK and the older son, Joe, stayed at the embassy during my kidnapping and before and after. And this is what happened. Illegal treaties were signed by this man. I'm legal heir to the British Crown, and I am the legal one, Victoria II. This woman has lived in my homes, has spent my money. She's part of the New World Order, the Illuminati, Freemasons, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers. How about this? And the Kennedys. Charles is part of the New World Order. The whole lineage is illegal. Look how many... I mean, it gets like you can't believe it. Lady this and princess that, and they're nothing but thugs and traitors and killers and should be tried and thrown out. Anyway, to the mind control murders, which Mr. Flint, I was flown out there during a campaign to replace one of the doctor congressmen I wrote about in the book on mind control and other subjects in the book. And he said I knew who was responsible for his shooting. He was in Lawrence Salon trial, and I was doing the book in Marietta, Georgia, when he was shot. So I never met him, but they flew me out there. And well, I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to say this right now. I'm not going to try to, because it'll go off. This is where I was taken when I was kidnapped and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. I married Childers. This is a glossed over photo. They didn't have cars. It doesn't show you the pigsty I lived in. But it was how I was treated. This woman killed the twins, and I was given Carl and Peggy, and I was given the name of the twin Peggy, a dead woman. And that's exactly what they've done with me. I'm 76 years old. As far as I know, the birthday I've always used is January the 7th. Born in 39. That part's true, and the January 7th may be. That's when the shootings happened at the Satire magazine. And at the moment, I've already tried to, not just the birth date, but the fact that when I was out at Flint's, that's a pornography magazine, The last trip I had out there were two in October of '83. He showed me a galley proof that has to be done 3 months ahead, so they all knew all this was going to happen. Uh, he was shot with a gun, but people didn't. Nothing against. I'm sorry that this happened to the French. I'm not saying that. I'm trying to draw your attention to the fact that the press is either controlled. They say they aren't. Freedom of speech and all this. Does it not? Is it not newsworthy? They kidnapped a monarch and tortured me all my life. I've hand delivered all this to them when I had to crawl, and I'm not kidding. Antifreeze put in me, you name it. So why have they deleted it all, and yet they rush over to Paris? Is that really because they're friends? I think not, but anyway, that's a satire magazine, and Mr. Flint showed me a parody that galley proof of it in '83, and he ended up in court here in Roanoke. I never knew I would end up here. But he was in federal court because the parody was about Reverend Jerry Falwell of Lynchburg, Virginia, next door here at Liberty University. Mr. Flint went before the Supreme Court to overthrow the suit, and he won freedom of speech. So where's all the freedom of speech and press during all that's been done to me when I have gone to you when I had no money with proof about the mind control murders, my kidnapping, the takedown of my parents in my country, illegal treaties? What are you going to... Well, anyway, I wanted to get to this one. After I had the antifreeze put in me and had done the book and got the letter from the FBI and all this, I was in Huntsville, Alabama, and this is later when I'm back up. I'm up here in Roanoke. This was in. Let me just read it. I usually, if I can get it in here, I won't. Amy Bishop Anderson. Her attorney was Miller. I think his name was Roy, and he actually worked with me for a time in '80 at the District Attorney Simpson's office. Amy Bishop was a professor at the University of Alabama, Huntsville. She pled guilty to avoid the death penalty because she was, let me say this, Amy Bishop was from Boston, born in Boston, or from Boston, former biology professor at the University of Alabama, shoots and kills 3 fellow professors, and 3 others were shot. Amy Bishop was a professor of neurology, and it was February the 12th, 2010, the mass shootings happened. Now, all of this, you'd have to read it. It's like supposedly these people that are supposed to be sane just suddenly go berserk, right? Well, it's because they've been given programmed and given a command. So, Huntsville Times gets involved in all this because way back when I turned it over, and they just had a field day with me, except Jack Hartsfield, reporter, who helped me, the only one, and Sal Vazzini was sent in there as police chief. He was FBI. Okay, one of the students, when they were speaking about Amy Bishop, professor, said this is like I'm trying to get all this on, and I won't. And no, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I've been through hell. The student said, never thought it would happen, told the Huntsville Times. It's like Virginia Tech deja vu all over again. That happened 4/16/07, the 33 mass shootings. Now then, what I wanted to get in also is Amy Bishop was also, she shot and killed her brother in Braintree, Massachusetts, and it was ruled an accident. The shooting at the University of Alabama took place in the Shelby building. And yes, U.S. Congressman Shelby knows all about my kidnapping and the mind control murders. He's from Alabama. And now then you got the Boston bomber. Mind control in Boston is where the Kennedys are from, and nobody cares that they helped kidnap me and what they did to my country. It's appalling. I've been there and gone walked in my shoes, and I know.